Would you touch us or write us a citation?
If I had to, yes.
So then you would deprive our rights, is what you're saying?
Yes.
That's what
because we have a right to public access, full and equal access. And if we have the right to say no, that means you can't take away our right to public access because those are both rights.
I just tell you.
And you don't want to go arrest the real criminals, but you would arrest or cite us for practicing our rights.
Very reluctantly, ma'am. Very reluctantly.
But you still would.
That's still committing a crime, even when it's reluctantly.
Yes.
That's sad.
So I've already called dispatch to have an officer dispatched here to come and take you as you are under private person's arrest pursuant to 123.225 for confessing to criminal conspiracy of coercion and extortion of rights on camera. He's under private person's arrest for 123.225.
What's your last name?
For coercion and extortion of rights, and criminal conspiracy for coercion and extortion of rights with Officer Havey.
Well,
yeah,
you're not going to put your hands on me, I'll tell you that.
Well, under 161.255, I can. It sounds like you don't know the laws that you're supposed to know and enforce.
Well, if you're placing me under arrest, I'd like to talk to an attorney.
That's fine, that's your right.
And no further questions. Thank you.
Sure.
Hey everybody, welcome back. If it's your first time here and you like this content, do not forget to smash that like, share, and subscribe. Ring that bell for future notifications. Today, I'm doing this video for a veteran whose oath will not quit, Paulie Audits. Please get to the link in the description to see the entirety of this content. This man puts in mad work educating himself and the tyrants around him. Let him know in the comments section. News Now Ninja sent you.
Hi. Just wondering if the sheriff's available.
He's not here right now. He's already gone for the day.
Okay. You might be able to. Can we get his business card by chance?
Yeah, of course. The best way to get a hold of the sheriff is to email him.
Okay.
He's very responsive.
And I've been instructed by the sheriff that everybody wears masks down here. So if you got
That's odd. He said it was unconstitutional and he knows it. Why would he suggest mandating or requiring everybody to wear something that he knows is unconstitutional?
He said it's unconstitutional, and then he told you to enforce it.
Yes, he did.
So under your department policies,
And the commissioners told me to enforce it too.
Okay, so under their department's policies and yours, none of you, as our employees, are supposed to follow unlawful orders.
Yeah.
That's coercion and extortion.
Okay. You need, sir, you either put a mask on or you gotta leave. Okay.
So now you're threatening me. You're threatening my rights.
I'm not threatening you.
This is a public space, right? A public access, public accommodation. Go ahead and record. It's fine.
Okay, we're gonna record this.
Oh, that's fine.
We are too.
Normally I don't have to. That's what I've been instructed to do.
What was the first letter of your last name?
It's Havey. H-A-E-B-E. Allen. A-L-A-N.
Do you mind if we have your DPSST number as well?
12364.
12364. Cool. Okay.
Do you know what the first duties of a sheriff are?
I actually have it for you right here. That second one. Arrest and commit all persons for breaches of peace and public offense. So an unconstitutional act by a sheriff is a public offense. It's official misconduct. So you're actually required by your first duty of a sheriff to arrest your sheriff for instructing you to enforce the mask.
No, I want to get along here, okay?
Well,
we're not here to get along. We're here to ask some questions.
We have differences, you know.
So we're your bosses. You are employed by the people, by the county, which is run by the people. Your oath is to uphold the Constitution.
Can we talk out here, folks?
Sure.
If you feel I'm doing wrong.
Well, I don't feel that you're necessarily doing wrong on your own volition. I think your sheriff is doing wrong, and now that I'm giving notice of that, you're required to act on it. So if you don't want to do wrong, you would be required to act on it. According to law, that's a law, ORS 206-010. And if you don't want to act on it, then that places you in criminal liability for conduct of another.
If you have a complaint about my conduct or what I'm doing,
I have a complaint about your sheriff's conduct.
Go tell him.
Okay.
You know, go tell him.
But this also rests on you. You realize you're like a pillar of the community. People depend on you to stand up for their rights.
You're under coercion, which is a felony.
No coercion.
So unlawfully use or abuse the person's position as a public servant by performing some act within or related to official duties, such as the first duty of a sheriff, arrest and commit all persons for breaches of the peace and public defense. So it would include the people ordering your sheriff to put out that order. So in the OHA rule that Kate Brown is using for this mask mandate policy, she cites 431A, 433, 413, and they're all public health laws. And 413 is the Oregon Health Authority chapter of ORS. Now 431.180, which is right here, says that nothing in 431.001 to 431.550 and 431.990 or any other public health law of this state shall be construed as authorizing the Oregon Health Authorities, chapter 413, or its representatives, or any local public health authority or its representatives, to interfere with in any manner with an individual's right to select the physician, physician's assistant, naturopathic physician, or nurse practitioner of the individual's choice or the individual's choice mode of treatment. So this is Article 1, Section 2 and 3 of the Oregon Constitution, codified into an Oregon statute law. This is the one that says, no law shall in any case whatever control the free exercise of religion and dictates of our own conscience. Now, when you signed up for your employment contract, you signed a non-discrimination policy. That's a requirement of this law right here, ORS 659A.375. That falls under contract law, under ORS Chapter 71, which is the Uniform Commercial Code, codified into Oregon law. That requires an obligation of good faith with your contract, which is what constructs your first duty of the sheriff. That obligation of good faith is what requires you to arrest and commit all persons for breach of the peace and public defense, for violating our rights, which you signed a non-discrimination policy, claiming that you would uphold and protect. And that variation, that cannot be waived by variation or agreement. The obligation of good rights.
It's my understanding.
Good faith performance.
It's my understanding that there's a meeting between the sheriff and the county council and the commissioners.
There doesn't need to be any meetings for you to perform the arrest with reasonable belief.
Well, I think I'm doing what I'm told.
Wow.
Part of the problem is everybody's doing what they're told, and that's actually not what you're told. This is what you're told. And your policy for your department, your sheriff's department, says that you're not to follow unlawful orders. So if they're telling you to do something that's wrong, you're supposed to arrest them. That's official misconduct.
Would you go up and talk to them?
What would you do if we tried to get in here without a mask? What would you do?
Okay, what would I do? I would do everything in my power to convince you to wear a mask.
And if it didn't work, because
that's still coercion.
It's coercion. Do you understand that?
Well,
that's coercion.
I don't. You know.
But you would probably arrest us, would you?
Oh God, you know.
We're asking the question.
We're not trying to communicate you at this point. We just want to know what
you say. Arrest. I mean, I would do anything not to.
But you would.
Would you touch us or write us a citation?
If I had to, yes.
So then you would deprive our rights, is what you're saying?
Yes.
That's what.
Because we have a right to public access, full and equal access. And if we have the right to say no, that means you can't take away our right to public access, because those are both rights.
I just tell you.
And you don't want to go arrest the real criminals, but you would arrest or cite us for practicing our rights.
Very reluctantly, ma'am. Very reluctantly.
But you still would.
That's still committing a crime, even when it's reluctantly.
Yes.
That's sad. I could cry right now. That's sad. You're not on our side. I'm sorry. We have to go.
So we are here with Deputy Habe. So I've already called dispatch to have an officer dispatched here to come and take you, as you are under private person's arrest pursuant to 123.225 for confessing to criminal conspiracy of coercion and extortion of rights on camera. There are many more charges that go along with it: official misconduct, bribe receiving, criminal liability for conduct of another, criminal liability as an individual for corporate conduct, misuse of entrusted position, misuse of entrusted property, so a whole bunch of crimes. You tried telling me yesterday. So if you're not doing your job, you're stealing our money. Any other employer would fire anyone who was not doing their job that they were paying them to do. When you signed your employment contract that came with your non-discrimination policy, which you signed a receipt for, your signature indicates that you read, understand, and know what you're signing and will abide by those terms in that contract. It's part of your obligation of good faith. And you've failed to perform those duties, so you failed the good obligation of good faith of your contract, and you're in breach of contract.
Well, if you're placing me under arrest, I'd like to talk to an attorney.
That's fine. That's your right.
And no further questions. Thank you.
Sure. I'm going to go ahead and talk while you remain silent. It's fine if you want to remain silent. Enrolled House Bill 2929 requires that you guys report or stop misconduct as soon as you're aware of it, and we made you aware of it yesterday.
What's up?
So, Deputy Havey here told us on video, as we're recording right now, yesterday that he will take an unlawful order from your guys'... Oh, you are the sheriff.
I am the sheriff.
Perfect.
Stop out front to talk to you guys. You guys were already gone.
We were there for hours, man. We were there for hours waiting on you.
Exactly. I have other things to be doing.
So, these are the...
Oh, you're good to go. Thank you. I'll talk to them.
These are the... You actually have to arrest him according to the first duty of the sheriff.
He can go. I'm going to talk to you guys. By the way, you guys are being recorded as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So these are all the Oregon Constitution sections you're violating right now.
Okay. How's that? It's like,
So you gave Haiti the order to arrest or cite anyone who goes in there without a mask if they're resistant. He told me that you gave him the order.
See, you are wrong right there.
He told me yesterday that you gave him the order.
Deputy Havey is here to enforce the crime of trespass, just like you would with any other business in this county. If any other business, you're welcome to reach send ID. If any other business in this county, every business has the right to make their own rules.
No, not when it comes to constitutional rights.
You are, sir. Every business in this county, every business in the state has the authority to make the rules. And if you choose not to abide by those rules, then you can either leave, or you can be charged with trespass if you choose not to.
Interesting.
False unsworn statements right now.
I'm not, sir.
Well, so 659A.375 requires you to have a non-discrimination policy within your employment contract, which requires an obligation of good faith, and you were given notice of such 71-2020 when you signed your non-discrimination policy. In your non-discrimination policy, it tells you that if you discriminate or enforce discrimination, or even fail to do your duty to stop discrimination, you are guilty of coercion.
We're going to have to agree or disagree, sir.
That's what it says in your department policy.
We're going to have to agree to disagree. So,
he's disagreeing with what his department policy says. So, when you restrict access to a public accommodation according to someone's rights, that's deprivation of rights. 18 U.S.C. 242 and 241 when you conspire with another, which you did with Officer Hayes. So you cannot criminally trespass someone who is in a public accommodation within their rights. And 431.180 restricts every authority cited on the public health order from interfering with an individual's right to choose their choice mode of treatment or treatment by purely spiritual means. I mean, you don't have to have a mask. Your conscientious objection. It's a very well protected right here in Oregon up until this last year and a half where you guys have been failing your duties. So in violation of ORS 659A.030 Section D, because you have that mandate sign on your door of your department. Now, that's official misconduct because you're violating a statute of your office, which is the non-discrimination policy, which you signed a contract.
once again, sir, we'll have to agree to disagree on that.
Okay.
The Board of County Commissioners are well within their rights.
They're actually violating their contracts.
They're well within their rights.
You should read your...
Can I talk?
Regulations.
I'll let you talk. That's my turn to talk. Okay. The Board of County Commissioners are well within their rights to place rules upon their places of business, which is...
And those rules have to be constitutional. That's why you have full and equal access protected by 659A.
So it sounds like we're just spinning our wheels at this point.
It sounds like you don't know the laws that you're supposed to know and enforce.
Okay.
That you actually signed
signed
a piece of paper saying you knew that.
If you would like, sir, you're more than welcome to type up your justifications, like I would have to if I was going to make an arrest. I would have to type up my justifications for that arrest, and I would have to submit.
And so a confession of confession of criminal conspiracy for coercion.
So please,
is satisfactory.
type up your justification, and then email it to me. I will make sure it gets to a judge. Or conversely, feel free to send it straight to the Department of Justice if you feel like we are violating that.
Okay, right. And if I were to place you under private person's arrest right now, would you resist?
I would leave.
So you would resist.
What's your last name, sir?
So he's under private person's arrest for 133225.
What's your last name?
For coercion and extortion of rights, and criminal conspiracy for coercion and extortion of rights with Officer Havey.
What's your last name?
So you're going to leave and be a fugitive?
Correct. But if you are going to submit to me a report of misconduct, I want to know who it's coming from.
You'll get it with that.
Okay, perfect. I appreciate that. Thank you.
You have a great day, fugitive.
You too.
you guys today?
Kind of disappointed in our sheriffs and sheriff's departments.
Just so you know, I'm going to record our conversation. Is that okay with you guys?
Yeah, that's good.
All right,
You should acknowledge that they're in breach of contract. So even you saying that you're not going to enforce the mask mandate policy, but not going to go arrest the criminals, is committing a crime in my presence.
Okay.
Refusing to do your duties is a crime.
Well, we can agree to disagree on that.
Well, I mean, you can disagree with what this says right here if you'd like, but that's coercion. You know of felons currently. You know the mask mandate policy is unlawful. Which
Okay,
means,
again, like I explained to you earlier, we're not enforcing any part of the mask mandate.
but the people who created the mask mandate, they created a forgery one public record, a false public record. That carries with it a fine.
Okay?
So now it's a racketeering, money laundering instrument.
Okay.
So these are felonies being perpetrated against everybody in the state.
So what would you like me to do?
Go place cuffs on the people that put the order in place.
Well, that's not
I didn't
gonna happen.
sign. I didn't sign your contract. I didn't sign their contracts. I didn't sign any of your guys' contract. I signed my own contract to go overseas, and I learned exactly who I was working for while I was over there. And now you guys are all just sitting here saying, "Well, that's not how it works." That's exactly how the law says it works. So if you're enforcing the law, then you need to follow the law. If you're not following the law, then you're failing your duties.
This is my suggestion to you. If you want those people arrested, I suggest you contact Oregon State Police,
Oh, I have.
who oversees that department.
I have, but you guys actually have jurisdiction over the Oregon State Police. You know, you don't need to lie.
We can agree to disagree on that too.
I read your department policy manuals. I've read every law regarding to your duties. I know your job better than you know your job.
Oh, is that right?
Absolutely.
Okay. Anything else you got for me, sir?
I can place you under private person's arrest, but I'm pretty sure you're going to resist and get violent if I do so.
Well,
Yeah.
you're not going to put your hands on me, I'll tell you that.
Well, under 161.255, I can.
Well, we can argue that all day too.